G'day and welcome to Semen Retention. Let's go. We're doing a bit of a nature walk today. Just out in the wetlands, taking a stroll, getting the body moving, getting that energy, that prana flowing. So I want to talk about the lazy lion. Who's the lazy lion? Well, I'd say most mature lions could come across as lazy. They're big, sleepy, scruffy, yawn a lot, lie down a lot, sleep a lot. But then, occasionally, they'll, start feeling a little bit hungry, get up out there, chase after whatever animal, take a big bite of it, drag it back to the lion's den, and devour it, and go back into its slumber for a long time. Now, to me, this is kind of my new method on semen retention, is that I'm prioritizing rest. I'm prioritizing energy management. So what that means for me is, on my last big streak, I remember the energy was kind of controlling me. And it was kind of so much that I just couldn't figure out, how to really refine it into something of use. And so right now, I'm just in a stage where I'm like, well, you know what? How about, instead of running around like a headless chicken, how about I start to just meditate, contemplate, observe and analyze things that, are there for me to observe. Like, for example, I've been enjoying watching movies lately. It's one of those things in the past, I didn't really take out time for myself to just enjoy a movie because I thought I wasn't being productive. Thought I was wasting my time. But the funny thing is that after watching probably about 10 to 15 films over the last month or whatever, or 2 months I should say, it's made me gain more insight to myself. That's why we have art, I guess, is to make us, contemplate, gather better perspectives on ourselves, maybe come up with some new ideas that are inspired by what that art is talking about. And you don't really get these sort of insights from constantly moving around and, chasing after prey when there's no prey left to chase. And you're also, you're also well fed. You don't need to eat anymore. So, welcome to the council. So I guess for me, embracing that kind of lazy lion energy, just relaxing, enjoying life. I find it really interesting. The more I kind of relax, the more I start to let go of certain things that aren't necessarily super bad for me, but they don't actually add anything. That, if anything, they just add a little bit more stress, a little bit more worry. Recently I've started to give up coffee because I'm just tired of that coffee kind of unnatural level of energy. To be perked up all the time. It's like, why do we need to be perked up? It's an anxious state of being, that's what it is. So I've had, transitioned into Earl Grey tea, which, it's still caffeine, whatever, but at least it doesn't feel as aggressive. So, when it comes to semen retention and being a lazy lion, I start to think about just nowadays, I'm not really interested in chasing after, the birds and the grubs and the insects and the little rabbits, because I know that's just not going to be fulfilling enough for a full-grown lion. Why would a lion waste his time running after a rabbit when that's basically just like eating a peanut in comparison to going after, one of those deer things that they go after? So the point is that if it comes to any sort of point in my life where I see that there's actually a woman that I want, someone that I feel like could be a real partner, then I have that energy and I have that drive to really chase. And the other thing is, in that position of laziness, I can also just attract being in my own vibe, being in my own frequency. I don't need to be, constantly moving around. Don't need to do all that kind of stuff. Don't need to be, peacocking and showing everyone what I'm about and all that kind of stuff. It's just it feels cringe these days, putting yourself out there, especially on those online apps. Even just social media, to be honest. I find that, this new semen retention streak has put me onto like a kind of timeline of remaining low, keeping a low profile. Yeah, like I post on Instagram, like I post on a story. These days, the only thing that will oblige me to post on Instagram is when my booking agent, makes a post with me and tags it. I'll post it on my Instagram to kind of just, acknowledge the fact that I've seen his post and I'm sharing it to my followers, and therefore, I'm engaging in good business. But as far as sharing about my personal lives, what's the point in that? Sharing my opinions? Do we need any more opinions out there? No, we don't really. What's the point in that? And the more you kind of watch, this habitual posting kind of culture that people have got themselves into, the more you feel, cringe for yourself and secondhand cringe for them, because you feel cringe because you did that before, or at least in my case I did. Like sharing details about your life. It's like, no one cares, man. You think about it, like every time you're on social media, you're there because you're bored. It's as simple as that. So being a lazy lion gives you more of an element of mystique, to be unpredictable, to be, an enigma. One of my favourite artists, he keeps a very low profile. It's usually news articles that kind of give updates about his life. He's never posting on social media. I don't even think he ever has, to be honest. I think his management has kind of done it for him. But, I think some people get it. They understand just how this kind of, harvesting of attention and energy that social media does. And I'm not saying it's the devil. I'm not saying that social media is the worst thing in the world. There's plenty, benefits of social media, 100%. But, to keep in that lazy lion kind of mindset, you don't have to worry about when people are trying to create some friction within your own peace. You know, like how many times do you see these posts like by news articles or whatever they are, and they just create some headline that's just like really trying to, you know, divide people and get some engagement going and all that kind of stuff. It's just cringe. It's a waste of time. When you see through all that, which I have, a lot of the time I've seen through it and all that kind of stuff, but then sometimes, you know, due to my own anxiousness, which I think that's why I'm like quitting coffee and stuff, and also that kind of perspective of always chasing things, not being in that lazy lion kind of energy. It's like you feel like you need to stick up for your values and your beliefs in the comment section. But the reality is that if you think about it, when do you ever engage with people the same way that some of these people engage with you on social media in those like argumentative comment sections? It's pretty garbage if you ask me. Same goes for YouTube. It's like, you know, I've definitely been guilty of sharing some comments on some of my favourite YouTubers and being a little bit controversial with what I say, but now I just understand that it's just like, you know, it's a waste of time. Just give them a like if you like the video. If you don't like the video, don't like it. Thumbs down it if you hate it. Unsubscribe if you hate them. It doesn't really matter. It's all pointless. You're better off just being that lazy lion that just lays down and cannot find a flying F to give. That's what it's all about. So yeah, we're just here chilling in another undercover area. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I feel like my life feels a lot more open, and I'm gathering new kind of insights as to where my next kind of era is going to pull me towards. In the next video I'm going to upload, I'm going to be talking about the plot and how we all have a plot in our life. We all have some sort of script. And I'll be talking about that. And I guess what this kind of lazy lion era for me is basically allowing myself to just relax and cool down and start to think about what are my next moves. What's the next prey that I want to dig my teeth in and my claws in and, you know, maul to death. But yeah, so yeah, let me know what you guys think when you're on semen retention. It's one of those things that I really appreciate once you hit past, like, you know, 2 weeks or whatever on SR. When you get past the week mark on SR, there's like this kind of anchoring that occurs. There's this like, it feels like either the semen that's inside your testes, or, you know, like just the testosterone in your body, it gives you this anchoring effect where it feels like you weigh a lot more than you do, and your movements are just solid and slow. Like when you're moving through the supermarket or a shopping mall, everyone else is like pacing around and like anxious, whereas you're just chilling. You're just like, yep, I know I'm gonna get my stuff. It's all, don't need much more than this. And so you feel relaxed. It's the anchoring, it's the lazy lion. The lion doesn't need to, you know, the lion sleeps tonight. It's not the lion goes out and parties tonight. It's not the lion goes up and stays up on, you know, TikTok and gets into arguments with people on Facebook. Like, I want you to really hone in onto this lazy lion energy. Yeah, and I might leave that for the video today. Hope you're all doing well. And look out for my next video, which will be called semen retention, and when the plot finds you. Alright, catch you later, guys.